Thanks for joining us, Scott.
Nice to be here, Paul.
Yes, indeed. Thank you. And we're here at the greenhouse at Comstock Ferry and Company in Wethersfield, Connecticut. We just had our anniversary celebrations. Scott graciously agreed to come and be one of our speakers here for the day, and wonderful, wonderful event. In fact, it's your 30th wedding anniversary.
So it is. So it is.
So, yeah,
so my wife and I took the ferry across the Sound, and here we are.
Well, fantastic. It's great to have you. So Scott operates Quail Hill Farm in Long Island, and we went and met with you a couple of years ago at the farm, and we have a long association with Quail Hill and with Scott Chasky.
Right. We've been ordering Baker Creek seeds for quite a long time. One year, I can't remember how many years ago, I was looking for a certain eggplant. It was a Turkish orange eggplant. Looks a bit like a tomato. Very rare,
right.
Hard to find, and the one seed company I'd gotten it from no longer carried it. And then this is what I like about the network of farmers and gardeners, is that a friend knew I was looking for this and found it in Baker Creek and said, have you looked at Baker Creek catalog? And at that moment I hadn't, but I did, and I ordered that, and I said, there's some interesting things in here. And that's led to us planting, who knows, this type of pepper and this type of watermelon and all kinds of really interesting varieties that we found from Baker Creek. So it's a long association.
Good, good, good. One thing that intrigued us when we visited your farm was the CSA that you operate. You don't pack things up and put them in boxes and people can pick them up.
Right.
It's a you-pick CSA.
Right. So, and it's been this way since the beginning. We're going into our 23rd year of the CSA. We're actually the first in New York State. And it started with 10 families who wanted to really get their hands in the soil, so that meant actually planting and harvesting and everything. That's changed slightly because the farmers now do all the planting, but the members still do the harvesting. So they dig potatoes, dig carrots, cut flowers, everything. They go out into the fields. It's well directed.
Right.
They don't just launch out into the fields, but that's how it works.
Boy, that's a marvelous system. How many acres are you farming in Quail Hill?
Well, we're for the CSA, we're farming about 30 acres. The members probably harvest in fields that are about 10 or so acres, and then we have more acreage where some of the other crops that have to be stored later in the year we grow in bulk in another field, and then we bring it back. So later in the year the members get it a little bit easier and they can just go pick up the squash or something like that. But they're very, very actively involved in everything that goes on in the farm. 250 families.
Wow, that's a decent size CSA.
Yeah, it's a 700 people or something.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Scott, you're also an author, and you've written a number of books, and I believe you have another new book in the works.
I do. My last book is called This Common Ground, which I read from today, as a matter of fact, and it's really the sort of story of community agriculture and our particular CSA, and of 10 years that I learned gardening on the cliffsides in Cornwall, England, so that's sort of part of that book. But I've been increasingly more interested in seeds and in the political side of how seeds are handled, etc. And so I'm now, I have a contract I just signed with Rodale Press, and the book is called Seed Time.
Seed Time.
Seed Time, which comes from Wordsworth. So I studied my degree was actually in poetry, so my title goes back to Wordsworth, and a line of his is fair seed time had my soul. And so that's the title of this book, Seed Time.
Boy, that's a real appropriate title for the era we're living in.
Yes.
Where you have these chemical companies controlling a huge percentage of the seed in this country, and I think people are realizing that, hey, we got to get back to our roots, we got to start looking at heirlooms, so this is a good time for Seed Time.
It is the right time for Seed Time, I hope, and it's due next March, so we'll find out when it arrives. So I've got some more writing to do, but so the subtitle of the book sort of tells the story. It's Seed Time, the history, husbandry, politics and promise of seeds. So there is this, you know, I remain an optimist, and there is, you know, despite the fact that what we're doing, and there's so many people concentrated on what has always been viewed as sort of the alternative to industrial agriculture, it's growing, and it continues to grow, and so I'm hopeful about that. So that's the promise of seeds that I hope to include, really.
So if there was one single item that you would take from your studies for this book, as it relates to the issues concerning the seed chain now, what would that one issue be?
I think it would. I think it would be. I'm trying to report on what seeds have meant in the past, and the change that's come about within the last century, so that a handful of seed companies control the seed market increasingly worldwide. And the fact that seeds are patented.
Right.
This is all, you know, this hasn't been around forever. So
we're patenting Mother Nature now.
Yes.
Right.
And using that, quite frankly, as a tool in developing countries, and that's frightening. It's wrong.
Right.
And so therefore, I'm trying to include the true history of seeds, what they've meant, but also, you know, how politics have twisted it. Many individuals aren't aware of those kind of details, so I'm hoping this book can help to bring that to light.
Well, fantastic. We look forward to its release. And Scott, if someone wanted to reach you or the farm to inquire more about Quail Hill Farm, how would they go about doing that?
We're very open to that, yes. Thank you for asking. So we can be found. I work for a land trust, the Peconic Land Trust, and the land trust has protected the land, and the community farm is operated on that land. So we're found at peconiclandtrust.com.
peconiclandtrust.com.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And Quail Hill Farm will be a link on the Peconic Land Trust website. So.
Got it. And the new title of the book?
Seed Time.
Seed Time. Fantastic. Scott,
Thank you.
Thanks again.
Thank you.
All right. Great. Thank you.